Snow was falling the way silence falls before a verdict, slow, deliberate, uncaring. My phone buzzed, a single message, from her. "Come home, we need to talk." Not love, not where are you, not are you safe, just a cold summons delivered on Christmas Eve, as if I were some employee she planned to fire before the holiday ended. I walked through the front door with the weight of something unsaid clinging to my skin. My wife stood in the living room, rigid, arms folded, gaze sharp enough to cut the room open. Behind her, her sister leaned against the wall, smirking. Always smirking, like she'd been waiting for this. My suitcase sat at the door, zipped, stuffed, ready. I didn't remember packing it. My wife's voice was quiet, too quiet. "We're done," she whispered. "Just go." No explanation, no argument, just exile disguised as a sentence. Her sister's smirk widened, a cruel little victory carved across her face. "Let's see how you manage now," she murmured, brushing past me as if I were already nothing. The door closed behind me. Snowflakes stung my cheeks, or maybe that was something inside me cracking. I sat on a frozen bench at the edge of the street, breaths turning white, fingers already losing feeling. I watched the house, the place where I thought my life waited, glow warm from the inside while I shivered in the cold like a discarded secret. Then I saw her, a woman across the street, barefoot in the snow, face tinted purple from the cold, arms wrapped around herself. She looked like someone who had already given up. Maybe that's why I stood, why I didn't think twice, why I pulled off my winter boots and handed them to her without a word. She looked at me with an expression I couldn't decipher, and then she walked away. 1 hour later, 19 black BMWs slid into the silent street and surrounded me like a moving shadow. The woman stepped out from the first car. She said just one sentence, and my entire understanding of betrayal shifted. But the truth didn't start here. It started long before the snow touched the ground. It began weeks earlier. Subtle shifts, quiet gaps, a strange distance that settled over my marriage like a fog. My wife stopped meeting my eyes, stopped laughing, stopped asking about my day. She answered calls in another room, turned her phone upside down every time she set it on the table. Her sister started visiting more, too often, too conveniently. She watched me with that same smirk she wore tonight, as though she knew a secret that tasted sweet on her tongue. Small things broke me slowly. The perfume she didn't wear for me. The late nights explained with excuses that felt rehearsed. The way she flinched when I touched her shoulder, as if my hand had become a stranger. I felt the truth circling me like a predator, but I wasn't ready to look it in the eye. Not yet. Suspicion doesn't arrive with a scream. It arrives with whispers. I began watching quietly, not obsessively, strategically. Phone records, bank statements, locations that never aligned with the stories she told. Once, she claimed she was at a friend's house, but the security footage I pulled, public, impersonal, showed her car parked outside a hotel. I said nothing. Emotion is a liability when truth is hunting. Her sister became bolder, too comfortable, leaving hints, leaving mockery in every raised eyebrow. One night, she dropped her scarf. A hotel keycard slid out with it. I picked it up. She watched me, smirked again. "You should be careful," she whispered. "Curiosity ruins people." Maybe she thought I'd crumble. Maybe she thought I'd beg. I didn't. Instead, I conducted my quiet investigation, collecting timestamps, cross-checking alibis, following the threads she didn't bother to hide. DNA tests, messages recovered from devices she thought were wiped, patterns emerging slowly, inevitably. Every piece pointed to a truth I already felt in my bones. Her affair, her deceit, her sister's involvement. But there was another thread, something deeper, darker, something I hadn't yet grasped. The final proof arrived in a plain envelope, not from a lab, not from a detective, From the barefoot woman, the one who would later return with 19 black BMWs. Inside were printouts, screenshots, transactions, a timeline of betrayal so meticulously documented it felt surgical. My wife wasn't just unfaithful. She was planning something worse. A financial trap, a legal setup, a coordinated betrayal orchestrated by her and her sister to cut me out of everything and walk away clean. The woman had written one line at the bottom: "They chose the wrong target." I didn't confront my wife with screams. I confronted her with silence. I placed the envelope on the table. She froze. Her sister entered the room, saw the papers, and the smirk died on her face like a flame deprived of oxygen. My wife's voice cracked first. Where did you get this?" I didn't answer. Sometimes silence is the sharpest blade. Revenge didn't require shouting. It required precision. I had already transferred every asset they tried to siphon, frozen accounts, filed reports, sent copies of the evidence to the right authorities. I didn't need to ruin them. Their own actions would. My wife dropped to her knees. Her sister backed away like the room was burning. You don't understand," my wife cried. But I did. I understood everything. "I know," I said calmly. "That's why I'm leaving now." No threats, no explanations, just the truth left behind like a ticking clock. Back on the snowy bench, before the BMWs arrived, I felt strangely empty. Then the barefoot woman approached, warm boots now on her feet. She leaned close and whispered the sentence that reshaped everything. "You helped me, so I came to help you destroy them." She wasn't homeless. She wasn't desperate. She was the investigator hired to monitor my wife's scheme, hidden in plain sight. And now, 19 cars full of her team waited for my next move. I didn't look back at the house. People burn themselves. I only hand them the match. I stood, breathed in the cold night, and walked into a future where their shadows could no longer follow. Some betrayals freeze you, others set you free.